Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Fullaim 1000 2.4 gig wireless mics. There are plenty of 2.4 gig microphones out there these days, and rightly so. With the amount of spectrum available for old UHF microphones dwindling, going to a 2.4 gig spectrum gets you away from all of that, all those issues, and gets you into some high technology, very compact UHF microphones. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Fullaim 1000 Pro microphones. Comes in this nice box here, this kit, and in the kit you get a whole battery compartment that holds the microphones and the transmitter, all of which are charging right now. And there's also a little pocket in the back here for accessories, and I'll get back to that in a second. In the box, you get the manual, which is available in a half dozen languages. You also get some furry dead cats. You get two lavaliere microphones. Wait, no, let's grab the wrong thing. Two lavaliere microphones, one for each of the transmitters. You get a USB-C. You get a USB-C to Lightning, so you can output the receiver directly into an iPhone or an iPad. You have a stereo to stereo right angles for analog, which will go to a DSLR. You also get USB-C to USB-C. And last but not least, USB-A to USB-C, most likely for charging the battery in the case. And that is the end of everything that's in the box. Now, the instructions are fairly straightforward. There's not a lot of, these devices don't record, but they do have one really nice feature, which is digital signal processing. They offer it in a couple different ways. There's a bass roll-off, there's automatic noise reduction with a gate, and then there's voice processing with reverb and effect, which I don't think people are going to use too much, but it's in there if you wanted it. We are going to use this. I have an overhead camera right here, so you can see in here, this is the box. We're going to open this up. You can see there's the transmitter. Now, let's do a quick walk around here. You've got the front panel, which has got the link button. If you press and hold, you can relink things. Power button. You've got your output level. You can increase the output level in 4 different steps. You've got your FX. EFX is how I would write it, but they wrote it EXF. Your little pinhole reset if things go terribly awry. You've got 2 drop-in contacts, which is nice. You just drop it into the box and it starts charging. You don't have to plug anything in. And on the other side, you've got a USB-C for your audio out for mobile devices. You've got a 3.5 millimeter stereo for audio out to like a DSLR. And you have an additional headphone output, so you can monitor it directly from the receiver as well as send it to a device. And then we're back up here to the front. One of the really nice features I want to point out with this is the clip is not branded. And you underestimate that simple fact that they're not trying to throw their branding in your face, so that when I take this clip and I clip it on someone, let's just say I want to clip, well, okay, I'm not going to clip this. Let me take one of the microphones and I clip it on a shirt. There's not somebody else's branding sticking out. Some of them are very bold in their branding their device in your video, and I actually really appreciate the fact that there's nothing on it. You can put your logo on it if you want, but there's nothing on here saying Fullaim or the brand or the model or anything like that. It's plain, and that personally to me is a nice feature. If I'm doing a production, my job is doing the production, is my production. My job is not to advertise somebody else's product in my production, and that's just a personal note of mine that I appreciated in this one, that this is plain. It's just, it gives no indication whose it is. The others, having slippy fingers today. The other side does actually indicate whose it is. This is the Fullaim 1000, and this is the transmitter. Let's walk around the transmitter right now. On the top, you've got the built-in microphone and the plug-in for the lavaliere. You've got an indicator for power and linking. On the side here, you've got the power button to turn it on, a USB-C for charging, your reset button. On the bottom here are your charging contacts for the battery case, and nothing on the opposite side, and this is just open on top. So let's turn these on. So we are going to turn these on like this. Press and hold, and press and hold, and you'll see it light up. So already you can see these come paired from the factory. I've got my output level right here. You can see I've got DSP on, and I'm actually going to turn that off. We'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to push that. There we go. So there's no pairing like that. And let me set this again. All right, and go through the DSP settings again. So this is where we're going to start. I have one microphone connected, and I have the receiver hearing the one microphone in. I'm going to increase the level for the output, and I have a cable here, which I'm going to plug in to my output. And this is going to my mixer right here. So what you're hearing me on right now is probably both of them. Let me check this. Okay, turn this off. So this is just the microphone in my studio. It's aimed up here from the table, and this is how I sound in the studio with just my built-in microphone. If I switch it, this is the Fullaim lavaliere microphone, but this is just the bass unit right here sitting on the table. And this is what it sounds like, just ordinary, and it's a good, actually this is like clipped onto my belt distance almost. I'm going to take this, I'm going to clip it onto my shirt. And this is how it sounds as someone would wear it. So you can see that I really don't have to do much of anything. And also, if I'm doing presentations and I'm moving around and the microphone is moving with me, so the audio doesn't change whether I'm further away from the mic or closer or further to the camera, whereas the desk mic I have, actually, if I move back 2 feet, you can hear the difference from being really close to really far away. So having a microphone on the person really does minimize that effect. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go through these different effects right now, because as we looked at the overhead, this is set to mono. So right now, my one microphone is going to both channels. And if I turn on the second microphone, both microphones will go to both channels. Let's do the effects. So the first effect we're going to try is the bass roll-off. And this is the same microphone, the same levels, and now I have just rolled off the lower frequencies in the receiver. You're doing this to both channels at the same time, the same amount. Next effect we're going to add is the DSP. One of the interesting things with the DSP is when I was testing this earlier, I had the door to my home studio open, there was other stuff going on in the house, and you really couldn't hear any of that other noise because there's what we call a gate. So it has to be above a certain level before it will activate in the mic. And all of that other noise was lower and you couldn't really hear it. So it was dead quiet until I spoke. And I think I can hear the opening of the gate. It's pretty fast. It doesn't have a soft ramp. But still, in terms of just minimizing excess noise and really focusing on a person's voice and nothing else, the DSP actually makes a pretty good impression. And then, this is going to be interesting, the echo. I want to welcome you all to today's show, where we will be talking about the Fullaim 1000. So like I said, I really don't think you're going to be using that sound too much, but you can probably hear the difference now that I've turned off the processing. It sounds more natural because the microphone is always open. There is no gate closing off the sound when I'm not speaking. Other interesting Additions to this are the little dead cat. So let us take this carefully. And I am going to put the dead cat filter on here. Let's go like this. And it has a rubber circle that basically holds onto this through friction. And whereas I could you can hear that I'm not really blowing on it very hard, but if I put the little furry on here, I think it makes a pretty good difference in terms of the wind actually hitting the diaphragm of the microphone versus being softened by all of the absorption on top of it. So these I find are effective. The next accessory that we need to talk about is the lavaliere. And you get one lavaliere for each of the different transmitters. And it's got a good 3 feet of cable, 1 meter of cable. So you could easily put this on the back, put it on the front, you know, put the transmitter wherever. I'm literally going to plug into this one while it's live. And this is the lavaliere microphone, also at the same audio level. And let me just quickly check the audio coming through. You can hear that the lavaliere has a pretty good sound too. It's probably not as crisp and as clear as spending $300 on a lavaliere microphone by itself. But in terms of getting 2 lavaliers, 2 transmitters, 2 dead cats, and the receiver, and the different modes, non-branded, and with that DSP feature, I think that's a pretty compelling package. Also, let us quickly go back into the fact that in the receiver, we talked about going to the DSP modes through the XF, not the effects. Hitting that button will go through the different modes right here. So let's go through those again. We have the normal mode, the bass roll-off mode, the DSP mode, and the echo mode, I'll just call it. So those are the 4 modes. Now, if you press and hold both of these buttons, they should really give you like a little indicator here on the side, but they don't. If you press and hold both of these buttons, you're going to change the mode of the receiver. And before I do that, let me take out the other transmitter. So we have the other transmitter here. I'm going to turn this on. So now both of these are on, you can see, and they are both being received and they're in mono mode. I'm going to press and hold both buttons. Now it's in stereo mode. So we have the lavaliere is number 1. And this microphone right here is number 2. And they are being split on the output so that each is going to its own destination. There's also a 3rd mode on here, which we'll press this and go forward. Now, this mode is mono, but it actually takes both channels and mixes them both to the left and the right, but the right channel is in a safety, or what we call a safety. It is about 10 or 15 dB lower than the left channel. And when I say left, I just mean they're both on the left and they're both on the right. So the output alone, just on the output, do you have the differentiation between left and right? The left channel is going to be full output. The right channel is going to be both microphones, again, mixed in mono, but 15 dB quieter, so that if something is really loud and it were to normally clip, like somebody shouting all of a sudden, you're going to have a safety on the opposite channel that you can recover in post. And I think that's a really good feature as well in terms of if you don't need to deal with two different channels in editing, the ability to take these two signals and have a high level for something that might be quieter and a lower level for something that might all of a sudden, you know, people laughing, ha ha, it's very loud, and it might clip the hot channel. It's not going to clip the low channel. So again, that's another really useful feature built into here. I am going to turn off the second mic, and to do that, you just press and hold the power button for a couple of seconds and it turns off. And then, like I said, here, let me move this in here. The fact that it comes with this case, turn it this way so it gets the light. You can see in the case, there are the contacts right down there. So if I come over here and I say, I'm just going to drop this in, and that's it. It just starts to charge automatically. And again, the case is included in this kit. So you're getting the charging case, both transmitters, the stereo receiver that can do stereo or mono. You're getting the cats, the microphones, and all of the different output cables as well. Now, the thing is, you can't carry all of these cables and microphones and lavalieres and cats. You can't carry them all in this little case. It's just not enough room. They give you a little pocket here, which I found if I take the windscreens and I tuck them in here, I can still close the case. So I have those available just for doing this. But in terms of carrying the lavaliere microphones around, that's not something that's going to happen with just this box. They also give you a bag, which can be handy to carry all of the cables and put those two together. And you could conceivably put both the pouch and all the cables in here and cinch it up into your camera bag. So there is a way to carry everything and kind of keep it all intact, but in terms of being a rugged pack to also protect the units, you're protecting the transmitters and the receiver. The other gear kind of has to fend for itself. This has been my look at the Fullaim 1000 Pro 2.4 gig wireless microphone system. I find it compelling both in terms of the completeness of the package and that DSP filter. I can definitely see being useful in terms of filming outside or in a kind of echoey location. It can help reduce that unwanted sound by using the noise gate and the DSP. My name is Anthony Barocas for Streaming Media. Thanks for watching.